So all the networks have called the presidential election of the 2020 U.S. election in favor of Joe Biden, meaning Trump has lost the U.S. election, and if it all shakes out, I know there's a couple legal hurdles in the way, but I don't think those would be a big deal. Now, there's a lot to talk about for Joe Biden. And just scrolling, looking at Twitter today, there's a lot of people celebrating the fact that Joe Biden has won and Trump has lost. Now, I honestly think that is more of they're celebrating Trump losing rather than Joe Biden winning. Or at least I'd like to think so. Actually, I do know so, because Joe Biden is not very popular. And that's one of the things that I want to talk about in this video right now, today. The day that all the networks have called the election for Joe Biden. A lot of people are celebrating, but we need to make one thing clear. I just looked at it, and without all the results in, 70 million people voted for Donald Trump. Now, I want you to let that sink in. There's 70 million people in this country who voted for Donald Trump. Now, I'm not going to sit here, there's no reason to think that all those people are racist, or stupid, or live in Hickville, There's a lot of people who voted for Donald Trump because because they think he's better, or they think Joe Biden is terrible. And they're not wrong to think that. Now, I'm not a Trump supporter, and I know I'm going to maybe get it in the comments, and people are going to be upset with me about raining on the parade. But look, those 70 million people are a part of this country. Okay? It's just as much our country as it is theirs, right? And you may think that they want to take democracy away from you, or they were tricked by the big car salesman that Donald Trump is, because he is a car salesman. That's the best definition of him. But we need to keep in mind that those people are not terrible people because you voted for Donald Trump. Okay? And we need to understand that a lot of people voted for Donald Trump because that back to normal message that Joe Biden was giving, that was a bad message for a lot of people, because back to normal, it brings us back to what it was in 2016 when Donald Trump was elected. A lot of people were worse off. That message lands great with, suburban whites and, other people of that ilk. Or I don't want to say ilk, but other people of that demographic. But there were a lot of people suffering in America, with or without Donald Trump. And I was watching a little bit of CNN, talking about the news that Joe Biden had won. And they were looking at the new counties coming in from Pennsylvania, and they're like, oh, it's Christmas morning. And it's like, oh, yeah, we got Christmas in November. This is why people don't like you. Okay? This is why people don't like, I saw people, opening up bottles of champagne because Donald Trump lost, and it's like, what are we doing? Look, I get it. Okay? I'm not a fan of the guy either. I never liked him. But you have to understand that he got elected for a reason. He just didn't show up out of nowhere. Okay? And so we need to learn the right lessons. And it looks like we're not, because apparently John Kasich was on CNN telling them that Democrats need to go right instead of left. But that's not what people want. People want to go left. The only reason we elected a centrist is because that was the only option we had. So, look, it shouldn't have been this close. If you think Donald Trump is basically Hitler, was attacking our democracy, it shouldn't have been this close, because people are not that stupid. Okay? We need to address the real issues. And there are bigger issues than just Donald Trump. And I don't think that Joe Biden will handle those issues. And he might, but the point is, we need to watch Joe Biden as closely as we have Donald Trump. All those people who just want to turn their brain off and forget about Donald Trump like he never existed, that's not the way to do this, okay? it started frustrating me when I was watching the cable news. And like for example, one of the things they were saying is they were talking about JCPenney workers. And someone was like, well, those jobs aren't going to come back. What the Biden administration should do is teach them how to code on the government's dime. That's not a joke. That's what the man said. So we're just going back to what it was before 2016. And I know this is a tough thing to hear, and people want to celebrate and they want to be happy that Joe Biden is gone. Or that Donald Trump is gone and Joe Biden's taking over him, excuse me. But I think people need to hear this more. They need to hear that 70 million people in America voted for Donald Trump despite all of his flaws. Okay? In my opinion, that's an indictment on Joe Biden. That is an indictment on, like, Democrats lost seats in the House. And it wasn't progressive seats. They all won their re-elections. It was these centrist corporate Democrats that lost. We need to keep our eye on the prize. People want to celebrate that today, that's fine. But today is day one of starting to actually fight for what we believe in. We need to hold Joe Biden accountable. All I heard during this election was we're going to try to move Joe Biden left. So it's time to put up. Put your goddamn champagne down and start fighting Joe Biden. Start moving him left. Day one. Right now. 1 million people who voted for Donald Trump, they're hurting. And they don't think Joe Biden's going to do anything for them. And I don't think that he will. So it's time to show those people that they're wrong. It's time to start moving towards leftist politics. And you could call me a socialist if you want to do that, but we're talking stuff for working class people. That's what we're talking about. You can call it socialism, you can call it populism, you can call it whatever you want. But it's time that the working class got heard. Because when the working class doesn't get heard, all they need is somebody to come up and say, I'm going to do it for you no matter what. And they will excuse the bad things about that politician because they offered them something. So it's time Joe Biden gave us something. And it's time we started fighting for something.